Hey creator, good morning on this new video. Today I'm taking you along on a day of dyeing yarn. It's a little different, so I hope you like it. I am going to start off with preparing some yarn. I got my new order in yesterday, which is really nice. And I have to let it soak for a little bit. I don't really let it soak super long, about 45 minutes, and then I'm good. And we're going to do that now. And I'm really hungry. So I need to do this first so I can have some nice breakfast and then do some other things. I think it is, I don't have my phone here, or do I actually? Wait, let me see how late it is. It is 8:42. What are those lights doing? That is strange. Okay, but it's 8:42, so let's prepare some yarn together and then let it soak, and then we're going to do some dyeing. I have 2 sweater quantities I have to dye for the dye to order, and I want to start on the new collection. And I will take you along on my process and a little bit how I do it, or like my thought process behind it and my creative process. It's gonna be really fun because I have no idea how it's going to turn out yet. It's always a surprise, and I really like that way. So let's take you along. Let's prepare some yarn together, and I will see you later when we are going to start dyeing. Okay, we're all set up. As you can see, I'll give you a little tour of how I like to do it. So I cook on my stove. We have an electric stove, it works perfectly. I just use hotel pans as everyone else, and it's perfect, really works really well. Then here I have my little, let me just bring you to there. My little dye corner. So here I place the dyes, I have some utensils. So the tiny black one is for picking up the dye. I don't use dye stock, I just weigh them out. The other spoon is just to stir in the pan with the citric acid down there, because I want a clean spoon for that. And then I have my whisker to whisk the dye. Seriously, if you don't use anything like this, for me, like one of those electric whiskers, like that you use for, it doesn't really focus, but you can see what it is, that you use for getting your milk frothed. Milk frother, that's what I call it. It's a little wonky, but it works perfectly fine. Really happy with it. So I use that to mix my dyes. I have how do you say it? I have like my water cooker down there. I just use a regular water cooker. It's a hassle, but it works, so it's fine. And then down here, I have my laptop. So I have my recipes on there. I put out the dyes that I need to dye limestone, which is the first one we're going to dye. We have a spread quantity to dye for it. I have masks. I don't use a like safety mask yet. I do want to get one. But for now, I'm just making sure I use like a COVID mask, you know. I have my precision skill, some gloves, and I clean the things in the sink here, where I now have just the yarn. It's a mess down there, so I'm not gonna show you. Oh, and I use these tongs to help me place the yarn in the pans. So yeah, that's a little bit my tour of how I dye in my kitchen. It's a little later already than I thought it would be, or than I necessarily, like, I think it was 8:45 when we put on the timer. It's now 10:15 because I also cleaned the kitchen. Like, I was just doing my thing, playing some games on my iPad while I was having breakfast. And the timer went on and I realized, oh, I have to clean the kitchen before, because I am dyeing in the kitchen that we also make food in. So it is pretty important, mostly for now, when I start dyeing, it's important that I have space. So it's not a super big kitchen, as you can see. It works, but I do have to have it cleaned out. So normally I have some glass standing in that corner. I took it all out and stuff. And now I have my setup done. And also for when I'm done at the end of the day, I make sure to clean everything. That is also why I keep like a towel, kitchen towel underneath the dye things. Why I have paper towels here underneath the dye too. And as I said, I do use, so I mix my dyes in just some sturdy plastic. These are from the Action if you're in the Netherlands. Like €1 each. Just some measuring cups, but I do make sure to mix it in the sink. As in, I put the dye in, I then put the water in the sink. So if it spatters or anything, we have a stainless steel sink. I just clean it very thoroughly at the end of the day. And that way I can dye in my own kitchen. So that's perfect, because yeah, it's just, if you want to start this, it can be super expensive if you want to do this like in the studio or anything, like rent of the studio. Stove burners, you have to buy them separately, of course. So for now this works. We'll see how long it keeps working. All depends on how much you love my yarn, of course. But yeah, it's been really fun. I really enjoy dyeing yarn, so I'm excited. I'm just gonna put you up and we're gonna start dyeing limestone. So let me pick one limestone so you know what we're going to make. I know that the lighting probably isn't great in here. It's super dark in this part of the house. I think it still looks pretty good, but we are going to be dyeing limestone. This, I do see a little bit better in this light, the coloring on it. I hope it's going to focus. Yeah, so actually in this lighting you can see it a little bit better, but there is this is a very neutral color from the Cottage collection, which is my first hand-dyed yarn collection. You can still shop some dye to order. I'm not gonna bring the collection back. There's still some in stock and you can shop dye to order for a limited time. I'm gonna close it soon actually. But yeah, this is the color. It is a very neutral base and it has some sagey green details in it. I hope you can see it. For example, you can see it a bit here, you can see it a bit there. And I'm going to dye up a sweater quantity today for a very lovely customer. If you're watching, Sandrina, hi. She has been a great fan by now. It's amazing. And I'm also going to dye up a sweater quantity of blue hydrangea. Let me get that one too. This is blue hydrangea. This is, it's so yummy. It's lovely. This is, as the name says, it is inspired by hydrangeas, blue ones in this case. And it has beautiful blues in there. It's a whole mix of blues. There are, I think, 3. Like this color is mixed by me, and then 2 other speckles blue, so 3 different kind of colors of blue in here. There is some green speckling, because in the hydrangeas you see a lot of time that it can also be a little bit green here, because it's very subtle, and then some white showing through. And this is really nice. And I'm also going to dye up a sweater quantity of these, but I have to dye up 4 skeins. So I'm going to dye up 2 pens, because I did find that the way I can make sure that the skeins are most similar is to dye them also in the same quantity as I've done like in the test batch or something. So I don't, no, not the test batch, like the normal batches. So that is 3 skeins in a pan. I dye 3 in a pan. So yeah, this is, I'm gonna dye 6 now. I need 4, but I'm gonna dye 6. 2 of those will go up in the shop on flowy fingering. So this is a sock that I'm holding. This is actually an order of a friend, and this is going to go out this weekend. I'm gonna give it to her this weekend. She's close to me. So yeah, this is blue hydrangea, but we're gonna start with limestone, and I'm just gonna show you a little bit of a time lapse, I think, or something in that way. I'm not sure how I'm doing it, but you'll see in a second. So maybe this is a fun angle. This is not a tutorial, by the way. I'm not going to show you how to dye yarn. There are way better tutorials of that, and this is just a behind the scene of how a day of dyeing yarn looks like. I am at the moment listening to an audiobook. I hope it's going to focus. I don't know if you really can see. It probably is very overexposed. Maybe there it goes. This is called Unraveling by Peggy Orenstein. And funny thing is that we actually are reading this book in the clubhouse. So in my community group, Amanda, which is an amazing member, she wanted to start a book club in the clubhouse. I was like, yes, go for it, love it. And she's hosting it. It is absolutely amazing. It's so fun how she does it. We read a few chapters. We are, this weekend I think is chapter 4, so we're still pretty in the beginning. So if you want to jump in, feel free. We do like 2 chapters at a time, I think, and then we do a discussion, we have a chat and everything, and it's a lot of fun. So I still have to get into the book a bit, to be honest. I am now, I'm listening it in Storytel, and the chapters don't line up. So I'm at chapter 7, which is I think chapter 2. Logical, not really, but it's fun. So I'm gonna put this on and put a little video up for you, because otherwise I get copyrighted, and we'll see how the dyeing goes. So see you in a little bit. limestone is now in the pan, as you can see. I just put a lid on for a little bit. And this is going to sit because when you dye yarn with acid dyes, I use acid dyes. And I'm dyeing non-supports, by the way, that's good to know. When you dye yarn with acid dyes, you need to have something to stick to it. That's the citric acid that I'm using. So I was blanking for a second. So citric acid, like it needs those few components. It needs, when you use acid dye, it needs heat and something to make it stick to the yarn, and that's the citric acid in my case. I just use citric acid that you could use in food or anything. It's just very neutral. You could also use vinegar, but I heard from a lot of people that it smells a lot, so I was like, but you know what, I'm not gonna do that. So like the smell from the yarn is already good enough for the house. Like it does smell like sheep in here again, but you get used to it. So acid dye, this lighting is, by the way, horrible. Citric acid, I've used a few of these bags. I haven't gone through one yet, so you do pretty long with them for me. And this is now gonna set because the heat needs to make sure that the yarn sucks up the dye. And you should not really want any dye left in your bath. So, I'm just gonna put it so it doesn't make too much noise and too much, it's not gonna dance too much. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait a little bit and prepare the next dyes for the blue hydrangea. I was very tired this morning. I couldn't wake up easily at 7, so I'm a little rambly, as always. So I'm gonna prepare the next pan, and I will show you what I do when I turn it off, and eventually also like wash it. It takes quite a long time for it to cool off, so I let my yarns fully cool off. So I let the pans, I put them somewhere else, and they have to cool down completely. Definitely with a dye bed like this one, this is full submergent, so it's fully in yarn. So this is like a lot of liters of water that is in here that needs to completely cool down. This takes almost half a day, probably half a day. And some other dye beds that have low submersion, they take less time, maybe 2-3 hours or something. I think two hours probably, and then I can wash them. I am going to put them in a spin cycle because otherwise they are soaking wet, and then I hang them up to dry, and then it's just waiting. I have a very warm, like we have a washing cabinet, to say it like that, washing room, and that is very warm in there, and it's quite dry warm, so that's the perfect place for me to dry my yarn. It's small, but it works. When it's really warm outside, I hang them not in the sun, but I hang them outside on a drying rack and let the wind and the warmth do its thing. But it's not super warm outside, it's a bit gloomy, as always in the Netherlands. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna take you along a little bit more, but for now I'm gonna dye this one up, prepare the next one, and I'll see you later. it's actually quite a few hours later. I had lunch and I also did a little bit more brainstorming for my next collection. And we are actually now going to wash the first pan of yarn, or actually it's not the first, it was the second, but as I said before, bigger pans take bigger pans with warm water take longer to cool off. So we're going to wash this one. I'm probably going to put you up a little bit so you can look with me or see what I'm doing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the new collection. It's very in the beginning stages, but I think it's fun for you to learn a little bit about it. Oh, you can't really see. Okay, wait a second. Okay, please ignore the mess a bit in the background. But let me wash some skeins with you and talk about what I have in store for the new collection. Okay, I set you up a little bit differently. It's a little busy, messy background, so please ignore that a little bit. But I put some water in here, just a tiniest bit of soap. I just use clear soap. I started using other people too, and it works for me. Works pretty fine. So I do make sure that there's not too much like foam in there, and then we're just going to wash. So the new collection, as I said, we're going to chat a little bit about it. When I started hand-dyeing yarn, I already immediately had quite a few collections in mind. And I just have been brainstorming, and everything that I see, like I get a lot of inspiration from nature. So whenever I find something so like, this could be really beautiful yarn, I pin it on Pinterest, make a board of it, their own privacy. Can't sneak already, but I have a ton of boards already. I think I already have 8 boards or something. And one of the collections that I have pinned down is a butterfly collection. So as I said, I'm very inspired by nature. I think nature has so many beautiful gifts for us, color wise, every way wise, but definitely color wise. And there are just so many beautiful butterflies that deserve to be their own yarn, you know? So I decided to make a butterfly collection. But I'm still very much in a brainstorming phase. Coming Saturday, you'll probably see this video a week later. I've probably already been there. But this Saturday, my next Saturday, I'm going to go to a butterfly safari, they call it. So it's like a butterfly garden kind of. They have indoors and outdoors. My boyfriend and I are going, and I want to do some more inspiration up there. But I have one skein soaking because I do want to try something out that I'm pretty sure I definitely want to incorporate in the collection. And it's a different way of dyeing, so that's interesting to see how that will work. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I probably am going to do 6 colors in this collection, in this version. I did 5 in the cottage collection. And there probably are going to be 6 in this one. So we'll see. I do want to make them a little bit more like matching with each other. Like not as in the same colors. But for example, in the cottage collection, I did almost in every color put a little bit of green, but just very subtly. So for example, here there's a little bit of green. I have a full green color. In the pink there's a little bit of green. And actually there's sage in the limestone color. Only Morning Sun doesn't have any green. But for this one, I don't know, I just want to make it feel a little bit more as a whole. And what I also really want to do is to make the colors a bit deeper and darker. So we all know fall and winter, eventually winter, but fall is coming. Maybe in some places it's still very hot, but for example here it's 23 degrees right now. It's pretty normal summer for the Netherlands here. But I want to do some deeper, darker colors, you know? So you can really use them nicely for your fall makes, fall wardrobes, fall makes. And I just want to be really conscious about the color choices that I make. I'm now, by the way, washing the yarn, as you can see, and I'm doing it to make sure that there's no loose dye that didn't stick to the yarn, is left in the yarn. However, there can always be something stuck in there that comes loose with your first wash. So I always recommend hand washing for this yarn. It's superwash, so officially you can put it in the washer and dry, not a dry by the way, in the washer. But I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. I think it's, if you really want to keep your yarn very beautiful, don't do it maybe socks. I think probably will be fine. But for example, now I did just the first wash, but this blue is really difficult. Blue is, it's not really difficult, but blue is a color that tends to need a lot of time to soak into the yarn, I found. And I think I got it pretty well under control, but there's always a little bit of blue in the bath when I wash them. Like literally always. So yeah, keep that in mind. Always make sure to hand wash your hand-dyed yarns, makes, please, on cold, and only like on its own, because definitely blue is a color that can bleed a little bit, and it needs heat to stain to other protein fibers. So if you hand wash it and you have something else in there, it probably won't stick. That you just do it on hand wash and on cold. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna try to show you. It's not really focused. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very pale blue now, the water in here. So I'm gonna do another round. Let's do a first round with a little bit of soap, and the second round is without soap. So also the soap that is in there, I can get it out of there. The soap that I'm using, by the way, is fragrance free, so you won't notice it when you get your yarn. It only smells like sheep, as it's supposed to. Okay, for this one, I see that there's still a little bit of blue in here, so I'm gonna give it a third wash. And I always make sure to just use a little bit. I think my fingers, like the top of my fingers, can go into the water and not much more, because yeah, you can use quite a bit of water with this, and I try to be conscious of not using amounts that are not needed, you know. So yeah, just something to know. I'm going to see if the next one is ready. I think it is. And then we're going to wash that one too, and put it on a little spin cycle in the washing machine. And that's going to dry for the next day and a half, 2 days maybe. I think most of the time, it depends a little bit on how hot it is in the washing room, but most of the time a day and a half. Like if I put it in today, then tomorrow end of the day will be good, I think. Maybe the morning after. Yeah, probably. We're now at the other dye pen. I just want to show you that what you need to see to make sure that your yarn is fully exhausted, or the dye is fully exhausted. So if I take back the dye and the water is clear, that is what you want to have. So, or the dye, the yarn, and the water is clear. That's what you want to have, what I wanted to say. So here too, there's just only clear water, nothing else. And then you know that your yarn has taken all the dye. So yeah, that's just a good tip to know. When you really start out as a beginner, I'm officially, of course, still a beginner because I did one collection. But I feel like I've learned pretty fast. I had some really good tips from other very good dyers, as I said, Inga before from Fuzzy Peach Fibers. I had a call with her. I've seen a lot of video from Chemknits, which is really, really a recommendation. If you just search hand-dyed yarn or yarn dyeing, you probably will find her, but she has many, many, many great resources. So I absolutely would recommend to check her out. It's just a lot of learning, it's trial and error, it's a lot of fun. Play with color, play with yarn. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy it. I really love making color combinations, and so for example, I will grab it. So yeah, like this. This is definitely just one of my favorites too. Let me show you the detail in speckling too. So the way that I dye, I think it helps to make sure that it's a bit overall coverage. And then I have some green speckles, blue speckles. As I said, I have 3 different colors of blue in here. It just has a lot of depth and it's really fun. I love speckles, not too intense, but I really, really love them. I think they give a lot of interest to your project too. And I really like to incorporate them in a lot of dyeing projects. So yeah, in this one too. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. I'm gonna put this on a spin cycle so it's not soaking wet anymore. It's not soaking at the moment, but there's still a lot of water in there. So that almost dripped on my floor. Let me get to that. Okay, you just saw me shake out these skeins that were just in the spin cycle. Make sure that if you have a spin cycle on your washing machine that there's no liquid or like no water added to it, because like my cycle only does take the water out and spin, or like, how do you say that? It drains the water that it spins out, but it doesn't add anything to it. Really make sure that it doesn't add anything, otherwise you shouldn't use it for this. But what it does do is that it spins a lot, so it gets a bit messy. But it's really easy to get it nice and neat again. As you can see here, this was just one big ball just now. And this is 3 skeins in the first batch of this sweater quantity. I have 1 more to add to it. And yeah, so I have 4 skeins, as I said before already. I like to dye it in full bath, so I have 2 extra, and one of the 3 that is going to be added to this sweater quantity. I really like it. It's also now like you can already see that the yarn fills up a little bit more. Okay, I already showed you how wet it still was, and now there's nothing happening, but it doesn't felt it, which is amazing, and it takes it makes it so much better with drying time. I've heard from others that it can take extremely long. I think even when it's really hot, like I said 2 days, but it doesn't take that long. I said when it is really warm in the room, maybe I could put something up early in the morning. At the end of the day it already feels quite good, but I would wait till the next morning, because you really want to make sure that your yarn is completely dry before you skein it up, because it is an animal product and it can get moldy if you don't do that. So it has to be like completely dry. Even if you feel like it's dry but you're like, it feels a little cool to the touch still, a little bit dampy kind of, leave it to hang. I'm gonna hang this up. The next one is already almost done, and I'm gonna see if my third pan, like the first pan I dyed, is maybe cool enough already to also get out. But I think I'm gonna start on the first color. I'm not gonna show you the part. What I find with vlogging, for me, it can also limit me a little bit in my creative process. So I already told you how I do it. I make a Pinterest board. I put a lot of pins on there. It really helps. I'm also going to see it in real life, so I'm going to that butterfly garden. Then I like to see, okay, how many colors do I want to make? In this case I want to do 6. I did 5 for this one. I like to add 1 more. I don't want to do too many because I cannot order enough yarn before, because I'm doing dye to ship, or what is it? Ready to ship yarn at the moment. I have not done a pre-sale. I think my audience needs to be a little bit bigger for that. So yeah, we're doing it like that right now. So as I said, make a mood board. Maybe go to the real version of it to get some more inspiration. Then see how many colors you want to have. Then going to map out which colors you would like to make. So that is where I'm still at in the process. So seeing, okay, which colors would I like to make, but I have one that I'm pretty sure of that I want to put in there. So I'm just going to test it out. It's also a technique I haven't done yet. So it will be really fun to test out. And I might show it to you when it's like cooled off in the pan. And after, when you have created your collection, you can start making really fun color combinations. Like see how they go together in real life, from your head to real life, and then go wild with marketing, because that's also part of the job. If you don't market your products, like I know a lot of people find it sometimes difficult to see like a creative thing being marketed also, but the thing is, if I don't market the products, also for other dyers, I won't sell products, and that means I don't earn money to make more products, because you have to put in a little bit of money to make sure to do this. I had a very big order. I ordered that one, but I was only able to do that because of the money that I've earned with the clubhouse and also with the yarn launch. So yeah, for now it's a lot of reinvesting, and I'm totally fine with that. I have some time to build this. About December, I've told you this before, but I am still officially a student. I should have graduated this summer, but I took a little longer to give myself some more time with the business to build it up, because I just really want to do the Mindful Creators as a full-time thing. I am doing it now as a full-time thing, but now I still have my student loan to back me up. I'm fully living off of that at the moment. And the goal is to be able to live off the Mindful Creators. So I'm really going towards that path, and yeah, doing something that makes me also very happy. The yarn and the community group, of course. So we'll see how it goes. I have until December almost to make sure I earn enough, which is a little nerve-wracking to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah. Hope you're okay. I don't know if you like me sharing this, but I did a little poll on Instagram the other day, and to ask if people want to see some behind the scenes, business behind the scenes, and they were like all full, like, yes, give me everything. So I was really happy to hear that, because sometimes, as I said before, sometimes it doesn't really feel like the creative space is, in our sense, the creative space is a space where I can really share this. Maybe that's just my feeling towards it, I don't know. But yeah, I hope you appreciate me sharing that. I'm going to hang this one up to dry, and I'll be back with you in a little bit to round off this video together. Of course, I forgot to film an outro yesterday, so here I am again, and I wanted to talk about a little thing, and then we're going to close up this video. So yesterday I told you that I was going to try out a new colorway for the new collection. I tried out indeed, and this is what happened. This is not supposed to be like this, so I think I just want to talk about you with this, and give you something to think about. This is what eventually came out. It's not ugly, it's brown. It's not it's a pretty cool brown, to be honest. I'm gonna wind it up so you can see. But what was supposed to happen is a mix of blue and green and orange. That did not happen, as you can see. But this is just part of the process, and I want just, if you're a dyer or not, doesn't really matter. I think it's just so important to keep remembering that when we try something new, in this case for me a new colorway, it could be a new job, it could be trying out a new craft. It doesn't always have to go perfect from the first try. And for this one, I got better at it, to be honest. I really got better at it throughout the years, but when I was a little younger, I found it really hard. I always was, especially with new jobs, I was like, I need to do everything in 2 days. I need to be able to do everything in 2 days, and if I can't, then I'm a failure or something, which is nonsense, of course. So I just want to keep in mind for you too, maybe if you're having a hard day or a week or anything else, and you're a little tough on yourself, it's okay. If we were all perfect, it would be a very boring world. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Mistakes or practice, it's all part of the eventual path. Like some people say practice makes perfect, but I think practice means progress. I've heard someone say that once, I have no idea who, but I think that fits it way better. Practice makes progress, because we don't have to be perfect. If we were perfect, it would be really boring, and why would we want to do that? So keep that in mind. I hope that helped you a little bit. I, at the same time, wound my skein, so I'm going to show you what this looks like. You can see that there are a lot of different colors in there. It's a pretty fun color too. At last I poured on some plum. You can see it here. This is a bit of the something yellowish I put in. You see some kind of blue in between. And this will eventually just probably go up as an oopsie skein. I have like 3 laying, so I'm gonna wait a little bit to have some more, and then probably do an oopsie seal. Maybe I even snatch this for a hat for a family member or anything, something like that, because it is pretty cool. And that is also what I want to say, like, this was a mistake, if you want to call it like that, but also it turned out something really fun, something different that I didn't expect. I knew that could happen, so I did write down the how do you say it, the recipe, but so maybe once in the future I will make it, I don't know. But this is what turned out. Hopefully I know better how to not make dyes mixed like this though, so that they get brown in the future. So I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be able to recreate this, but I just wanted to tell this story and this lesson, to say it like that. So as I said, if you're having a hard time or anything, being a little tough on yourself, it's okay. It's just part of the process, part of your path, and it'll be fine. Just like this. Like this pretty fun, very different than I expected oopsie skein. So with that, I'm gonna close off this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It really helps a lot to me. It also means a lot to me. It's so fun to see also your comments. I read all of them and comment on all of them. Maybe if I miss one, but I'd always try to comment on everything. I just love to have a conversation with you there. It really means a lot to me. I'm really happy that you all are here. In October, it's already been a year since I started posting regularly. So that's a long time, you guys, a year. So yeah, I really want to thank you all. And if you're interested in my hand-dyed yarn, as I said, you can find the link below to the mindfulcreators.com. I have a really fun community group if you want to be part of a really, really cozy, super loving. The women that we have in the group are absolutely beautiful. It's open to everyone, just know that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, creator!